All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, all glory to the Heavenly Father and His Son, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. All right, double honors to the apostles, elders at Great Millstone. Salutations to the elect members who are scattered to the four winds of the earth, pushing the work in truth and in sincerity, bringing forth the testimony of our Lord Yahweh Shai. All right, which is the spirit of prophecy, prophecy meaning to say before. All right, and so got another lesson here dealing with the digital ID. All right. So I want to call this lesson uh, on the road to the M.O.T.B. Okay. Because we know things are still, being brought together as far as the frameworks. And from what we know, they want pretty much everything on a digital based system. All right. Where everything is pretty much digitized from, medical information to your your personal information. All right. Also, CBDCs, all right, central bank and digital currencies. They want currency to be digitized, which there's somewhat of a form of that happening now, all right. But they want this, they want everything digital, all right, because that's how the system is going to work, all right. And so we're seeing day in day out that they're continuing to push towards that the final goal, the end goal, all right, which is all prophetic. This is ultimately, and this is uh, one of the fine points of this lesson is that this is the Lord's will. All right, this is the Lord's will for Esau to pretty much, of course, capstone his enterprise. All right, so I'm gonna go into these articles. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying, and I cap it off with a few precepts. All right, so this is EU's controversial digital ID regulations set for 2024, mandating big tech compliance by 2026. All right, and so they have to get all the techs, or they have to get big tech, which is all the companies that deal in technology, mainly apps. Um, well, let's see if it'll basically go more into it. So I just won't be talking. All right, so here it says the EU's new digital ID rules, the Digital Identity Regulation, EIDAS 2.0, all right, are about to come into force on May 20th, mandating compliance from big tech, all right, and member countries and supporting the EU digital identity, all right. And so what we know, from what we know as far as the prophecy goes concerning the M.O.T.B., and this is just part of the frameworks, right? The digital ID is part of the frameworks to capstone the M.O.T.B. All right. So as far as what we know, the scriptures say that the whole earth shall be tried. So what we're seeing here is that it's not just in one place. This is a global effort. All right, on Esau's part. Okay. So I'll continue. It says, so let's see here. All right. However, Salakia, let me start. It says mandating compliance from big tech and member countries is supporting the EU digital identity. All right, EU DI. All right, wallet. Okay. However, work is not complete on the EU DI wallet. All right, as several pilots are planned for 2025. All right, to consolidate the process of the implementation of the rules, which a lot of this stuff is going to be sped up because there's going to be a lot of crises happening. All right. And they're going to they're going to have to jump on the opportunity. That's what I believe personally, that they're going to fast forward this thing. All right. It says Australia's digital ID push is, it says, undermined by data leak disaster. All right. According to the framework, the European Council passed recently, which has now been officially published, the deadline for the digital ID wallet to be recognized and made available 2026. For now, it will be used in several scenarios, including accessing government services and age verification. All right. All right. As things stand now, that deadline means that while the wallet scheme must become fully functional by that time, it will not be obligatory. Slacky for that. Uh, I'll just say I can't even say obligatory, right? I think I said it right, but basically, it's not an obligation now for citizens of the UE's uh, of the EU's 27 members. All right, and protection against discrimination is promised to those choosing not to opt in. Okay, so yeah, so they're gonna make it hard for you to. It's gonna be hard to live without these, um, these different platforms. With the whole digital ID thing. All right, they're gonna make it hard. All right, because everything is gonna be digital. Okay, for you to access, funds and whether it be government funds, whatever. All right, for the most part, I know here in the states, you got like food stamps and stuff like that, food share. All right, all of that's pretty much online. They even got an app for it now. You can check your balance. Before then, they didn't have that. So that's just one aspect. Because everything is gonna go digital. All right. So EU consent ASBL. It says this will be a great source of authoritative age data for use in online age assurance processes. The high security level will at least initially limit its usability when surfing the web, as the process to disclose an age attribute to each it says to each website separately will be too complex to be convenient. And with the EU Code of Conduct for Age Appropriate Design uh, uh, be be developed as part of the Better Internet for Kids strategy, an alternative means of online age assurance will still be required for children too young to have their own EUDI wallet. So this is all playing a part of their big scheme. All right. So you're gonna have to have a digital ID to surf the web. All right. And if you don't have the digital ID, well, they're gonna limit your access. That's what it's looking like it's saying. Correct me if I'm wrong. Right. So it says, including many seeking to prove they're old enough, 13 to 16, to give consent to share personal data under Article 8 GDPR without parental consent. All right, so let's see. EU Digital Identity Wallet. The digital identity wallet is now set to become reality. The digital identity regulation was today published in the official journal of the European Union. It will enter into force exactly 20 days later on May 20th, 2024. All right, excuse me. All right, the first set of implementing acts containing the common specification required to build the EU digital identity wallet will be published before 21st of November 2024. All right, getting a digital wallet issued using it or having it revoked will be free of charge, while the code powering the system will be open source, but with the caveat that countries will be able to withhold certain information with reasonable justification. The regulation also aims to preserve website authentication certificate standards now in place and established in the industry while clarifying their scope. Okay, so Slocky, without going too far, because you can't get confused at the wording, it looks like they're using this for authorization, the digital wallet, as part of the, a security measure for, the internet or whatever. All right. See, it says related sources. I think I got this one up already too. Well, no. Okay, EU's controversial. Okay, and so now it ain't just happening. It will. This is part of EU too. Belgium and Hungary. All right, launched controversial digital IDs, the V passport, ahead of EU regulations. So they're ahead of the game basically. It says Belgium and Hungary are leading the way in launching digital ID wallets ahead of EU's EIDAS, all right, electronic identification and trust services 2.0 regulation and EUDI wallet coming into force later this month. Belgium and in Belgium, the mygov.be app covering all the country's federal public services, see, and they already got it in play, all right, was launched on Tuesday with the government promoting the digital identity as simplifying the use of its services and making life easier. This is going to be deployed, all right? This is going to be deployed for everything. And of course, at first, it's going to be voluntary, but you're going to find it harder to manage life, all right, without, digital ID, your information being on digitized basically, all right, where they force you to take an app. You got to go through this, you know, two-prong, three-prong authentication thing, and they're gonna make it hard. They're gonna make it difficult. You know, they're gonna definitely make it difficult. And Lord willing, this makes sense. It says, in other words, it says the authorities there are playing the convenience card while downplaying the risk that come with this type of centralization of people's identities. All right, so centralizing identities, and that's the whole point of it all. Aaron Russo had the interview with Alex Jones, and that was one of the things that he mentioned is that they want all control. They want they want complete control, and that's what they're doing. They're consolidating control. All right, but they're doing it by way of resetting society, bringing you a whole new way in which how and how society is going to be ran. All right, related EU approves digital ID regulation that forces big tech. Right, so they're forcing these tech companies to play ball. And so it's just a matter of time. Okay, and this ain't just restricted to one area of the world. As you can see, there's been talk about digital ID, the real ID here in America. All right, which let's see here. So check. I'm gonna read a little bit more, and then I'm gonna go into real ID because that's the American version of the digital ID. Or yeah. So Slovakia. This is the wallet via e-box. Mailbox gives access to government issued documents as well as 683 services, right? Identity data, C, CV, records, and more. However, the success of the scheme is by no means guaranteed. On the one hand, it is not mandatory, so people are free to decide not to use it. Judging by an opinion poll Deloitte carried out last year, 71% of Belgians do not want a digital ID on their phone. Reports say, adding that the same survey showed that 79% do not want a mobile driver's license, while half refuse to fully digitize their IDs. Ease of use is also how digital ID is pushed in Hungary, where the appropriate app will be made available for download as soon as this week, while the service will be fully operational from September. Enthusiastic reports about this development describe the digital ID program as innovative, handy, and saving costs. All right. And once that doesn't work, okay, then they're gonna go to more. Let me see, more authoritative means. Okay, so they ain't gonna make it easy. All right. So let's see here. Let's get some precepts, because again, the way you got to understand this is that, you know, ultimately this is the Lord's goal, you know. This is how the Lord is about to do it, It's his will at the end of the day. So let me get Revelations 3 and 10 just to prove to you that it's going to be worldwide. All right. Revelations 3 and 10, it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, and that's the understanding is truth. This wisdom, God's wisdom. All right. Okay. I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. All right. And what we're starting to see, what we're seeing with this whole thing is that it's manifesting itself. It's like I had to do some reading, but, you have to understand the steps that Esau is taking towards his end game, so to speak. All right. I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, right? Which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Right. So they're laying the frameworks with the digital ID, and that's going to be part of the M.O.T.B system. Okay. Because all roads lead to the RFID chip, which is the M.O.T.B. And again, especially because, the M.O.T.B is going to be it's definitely going to be digital. All right. Okay. That's what that's all about. The Salaki, the branding. All right, because that's all the RFID chip is. Okay, Palisade. Okay, it's going to be a branding. All right, it's essentially a branding. Okay, so let's see here. Right, so it's going to try all men. It says, "Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown." And that's right. We have to keep the sayings of the scriptures because it's the only thing that's going to get us through. Okay, we got to be found faithful with Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai, because you know these times that are emerging, they're gonna it's gonna test your faith. Okay, a lot of individuals who have been ignoring the fact that the RFID chip is the M.O.T.B, they're gonna get caught up. All right, the elect are gonna know not to take it. And it's not no thing where if I take it, you're just gonna know not to take it. It ain't gonna be no excuse of you trying to, or the question of you can get it and then you can take it out your hand and stuff like that. If you get it, your fate is sealed. All right, and that's why this is so important. It's highly important. All right, and Jake likes to downplay it. Okay, here, let me see. And this is more so towards the Lord. All right, let's see here. Because also this is definitely being a tool. This is a tool that the Lord is using to weed out, to separate the wicked from the just, the righteous, the ones that's worthy of, the kingdom, the first fruits. All right. So this is definitely a weeding out. All right. So here, let me get this because here I always use this for this to make this point. This is Job chapter, I think it's 14 and 6. Yep. 14, I can start at 5. All right. Job 14:5, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. And so this whole NWO, all right, it has the Lord has set the boundary for Esau, you know. And for the most part, Esau is going to test that limit, And that's why he's preparing the world and making haste so he can bring this thing to pass, and ultimately so they can fight against the Lord. You see, but he's not going to be able to make it past that point, that threshold. All right. Okay. And so this is definitely huge because Esau knows just as well as us that he ain't got much time, and that he knows that not all kingdoms continue on forever, and this is what he's trying to do. He's trying to essentially you know uh, I don't want to use the term make history. That he's trying to fight against the notion that that the Lord is all powerful and he determined who rules. All right. So verse 6, all right, here's the point of it all. Right? It says, turn from him that he may rest till he shall accomplish as an hireling his day. And that's essentially what Esau is doing. He's accomplishing what he was hired to do. And he was put here to bring forth wickedness. All right. And the Lord tells you that. All right. Let me see. Is it 16:4? Proverbs 16:4 says, and the Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. All right. So NLT says the Lord has made everything for his own purposes, right? Even the wicked for a day of disaster. All right. So that's whether to destroy. Ultimately, the Lord is bringing, the wicked into judgment regardless. But he can use the wicked for the day of evil, and he can use them to pretty much be destroyed. All right. Okay. Because what? Good and evil proceed from the Heavenly Father. And that's how we got to look at this thing. All right. It's the Lord accomplishing what he said, man. All right. And, just because, these jakes don't agree with it, I mean, what the hell you going to do? This is what, this is how it's going to play out. Esau is consolidated all control. All right. And he wants to enslave the world. He wants to be God. So, hey, Isaiah 47 goes into, stand with thine enchantments. You know, if it be possible, you gonna prevail, right? So Esau got to stand on business. He gonna stand on his belief, all right, that he's gonna reign and conquer forever, right? So Sirach 39:15 it says, magnify his name, and shew forth his praise with the songs of your lips, and with harps and praising him ye shall say after this manner. All the works of the Lord are exceeding good. All right. And whatsoever he commandeth shall be accomplished in due season. All right. And that's just the point I want to grab from this. All right. Whatsoever he commandeth shall be accomplished in due season. So, you Jakes who don't agree that the RFID chip is the M.O.T.B., well, you definitely gonna have a very hard time in these upcoming days, weeks, months. All right, because despite how you feel, the Lord has given Esau the power to essentially bring forth this device. All right, and what I mean by device is his whole philosophy, the ideal behind it. All right, that he wants to be God. He's going to allow him to a certain extent. All right, to bring forth this endeavor. All right. Uh, let's see here. This is Job. I'm gonna get straight to the point. Job 20. Here, let me see something. 14. Nope. 5. Let's see here. This is Job 5 and 12. All right, because he's gonna get to a point where the Lord is eventually gonna cut him down. Right. Job 5 and 12. Yeah, I can start up. Let me see. Let's see here. Yeah. So 5 and 12, Salakia. So it's he disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. All right. And what's an enterprise? I mean, it's like pretty much an undertaking, right? Yeah, yeah, an undertaking, right? Um, and that's what this whole NWO is, man. Uh, to an undertaking. Here, let's see here. Let's see if we can get some more. So it says formerly also enterprise undertaking. Passport. Okay. To take. All right. And what is he? Yeah, the enterprise is essentially to take the whole world, not just the world and its resources, but the people and their souls. All right. So that's what's happening too. Okay. So let's see here. Right. So he disappointed the devices, and another word for device is ideal, of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. They meet with darkness in the daytime, and grope in the noonday, as in the night. But he saveth the poor from the sword, from their mouth, and from the hand of the mighty. And in the look, by the looks of it, man, this is going to be very hard to escape this system without the Lord, man. Like the only way out of this thing is truly Yahweh Bashim Shai. It's truly Yahweh Shai. All right. He holds the keys to salvation, man. Whether we go out, you know, uh, if we get put to death because we don't consent, or whether the Lord just saves us, scarcely saved. And the scripture says scarcely, uh, you know, the elect is going to be saved, roughly paraphrasing. That means they're going to be in dangerous situations where, they're going to have to be saved out of it. So either or, Yahweh Shai is the only way out, you know. And the Lord is making it. He's making, again, Revelations 3 and 10, he's going to make it very hard for individuals to escape any other type of way. You're not going to be able to do it. This is a whole global thing that Esau is doing. All right? Real ID. That's what that before I forget. So the real ID, like I'm sure brothers heard of this. All right. See, and there, this Homeland Security. Are you real ID? Okay. Meet your new ID. That's the one that's ready to fly. Okay. Are you real ID ready? Right. On May 7th, 2025, U.S. travelers must be real ID compliant to board domestic flights and access certain federal facilities. Find out if you're real ID ready for our interactive tool. So it's the same thing as having a digital ID. Okay, getting your ID digitized. All right. Let's see if we can get a little bit more on it. So you're gonna need this. All right. Let's see if we can just get the meaning of it. Here we go. So overview. Real ID Act establishes minimum security standards for license issuance and production and prohibit. Yeah, so yeah, let's see. 30 seconds.
Someone's looking ready.
Here, I want to say fair use, but they still clip my videos. I done had like 4 videos clipped within the last week and a half. So, here, we'll do this. All right. So yeah, they're just right here is a law that sets higher security standards for state issued drivers licenses and identification cards. All right, allows compliant states to issue driver's license and identification cards where the identity of the applicant cannot be assured or for whom lawful presence. Here, let's see if I can pick up where I left off. All right. Frequently asked questions and answers regarding implementation of the Real ID Act. The Real ID Act passed by Congress in 2005 enacted the 9/11 Commission's recommendation that the federal government set standards for the issuance of sources of identification, such as driver's license. The act established minimum security standards for license issuance and production and prohibits certain federal agencies from accepting for certain proposes purposes, driver's license and identification cards from states not meeting the Act's minimum standards. All right. So the real ID will basically have your social security card number. All right. Probably your birth certificate. But anyway, your information is digitized. All right. For the most part. Are all states issuing real ID compliance? Yes, all states, the District of Columbia, and 5 territories are real ID compliant and issuing real ID compliant drivers licenses and IDs. Okay. When will real ID be enforced? It says May 7th, 2025. All right, so next year around this time. What is real ID? Passed by Congress. Okay, we read that. All right, so Slovakia. All right, passed by Congress in 2005, the Real ID Act enacted the 9/11 Commission's recommendation that the federal government set standards for issuance of sources of identification such as driver license. The act established minimum security standards for state issued drivers licenses and identification card and prohibits certain federal agencies from accepting for official purposes licenses and identification cards from states that do not meet these standards. These purposes are accessing certain federal facilities, boarding federally regulated commercial aircraft, entering nuclear power plants. Hmm. So basically, all the states are in compliance with it. And basically, what it's going to really do is have most of your information on there. All right. Let me see something. Let me see if I can find more information. All right. So here I found this. All right. I kind of didn't want to be too long with this, less I know it's a lot of reading, and then most of it is you know hard jargon for lack of better words to pretty much understand. But what it is that you know Esau is making everybody put pretty much digitize their identification. Okay, so U.S. poised for progress towards biometrics backed digital ID in 2024. All right. So let's see here. So it says most Americans have become comfortable using face and fingerprint biometrics as a way to unlock their mobile phones. In 2024, the number of Americans using digital IDs and biometrics. So you already using the digital ID. You already using a digital ID. All right. For people who have play video games, you scan your face into the game. I've personally never did it, but people have done it. They collect data like that. So you already got a digital ID, right? It says in biometric verification to pass more quickly through airport checkpoints will start to catch up. And see, this is a ploy for convenience, all right? And so, and the Lord is pretty much gridlocking this thing. You ain't gonna be able to get out of it unless you're the elect, right? It says a growing number of state agencies that issue identity credentials like driver's licenses are working to make digital IDs available to residents in the form of mobile driver's license, MDLs, all right? They are also collaborating with the federal officials to give Americans a faster option for security checks and flight boarding. This introduction of digital ID in a way that makes things easier for people will reframe the way numerous travelers think about the technology and bring a base of informed users to the popular dialogue about how people should establish trust. Consumers in biometric Touch ID debuted in September 2013, but most smartphone users were introduced to biometrics in person sometime later, less than 10 years ago for most of us, and the intervening time, the use of a PIN as a way to unlock a smartphone has become old fashioned to many. Consumers are also becoming to used to using biometrics in other settings. In 2024, consumers will see a wider availability of biometric identity verification solutions. You see, people are going to be opting in this thing easily. They're already opted in. So, it says offered by commercial entities to verify the identity of the individual when transacting either in person or online than ever before. Commercial uses of biometric technology now span across fingerprint, iris, and facial recognition modalities. All right. To ensure the individual is the same one who initially enrolled in a service such as grocery store checkout and amusement park season pass. Is it's going to apply to everything. All right, and that's why you ain't gonna be able to escape. You know, um, let's see. I kind of want to cut to biometrics and digital IDs. It says in one place where Americans are clearly looking to replace those processes is the airport environment, which I wouldn't want to be caught on an airplane, especially not in these times. One of my first visions is that I seen was airplanes falling out of the sky, so I'm good on that. I mean, of course, I've got on planes plenty of times, but yeah, not for the foreseeable future. All right, biometrics and the digital IDs. All right, biometrics have long been a consideration in the standards for passport and are widely used to connect individuals to their digital ID around the world. It is little surprise. It is little surprise, therefore, that as states issue MDLs to provide digital ID to their residents, they are similarly implementing them with biometric standards in mind. The MDL allows for the verification of a person's identity to a trusted government issued source, along with the additional option of extending the verification to make use of biometric facial 1.1 or 1.1 match with a selfie. All right. The greatest success of biometric technology for everyday applications is in its ability to accurately confirm who an individual is in a one for one or one for few matching situation. These are the kinds of comparisons used in airport applications like security checks and flight boarding. Yeah, it's gonna be like that movie. If you've seen, they got the Repo Man with Forrest Whitaker. All right, um, Minority Report. All right, shows you how biometrics played a very important part in society in those movies. But we know those movies are predictive programming. All right, so they're here. All of that stuff we've seen in those movies, we see them now. All right. Um, in the movie Demolition Man, if you said a word, they had what? They had biometrics with voice recognition. They knew it was you. Curse. If you curse, you got a fine. It's the world. This is the ideal world that Esau, man. All right, being able to surveil everything and being able to essentially play God. It's just completing these checks without handing over a passport will demonstrate the value of biometrics backed digital IDs in the form of increased speed and convenience. All right. And so that's what it's there for, man. It's there for to surveil you, to give you the illusion, all right, of safety, you being safe, and everything's convenient. That's the world we headed to. Okay, and we're talking about stuff that they already have in play. All right, all you need is for the right calamity, the right crises, and they can just present it and forward it fast as hell, just like they forwarded the those stabbing jabs. All right, they had millions upon millions, hundreds of millions of needles for you. Okay, so this is a framework that they pretty much stored all the data. All they got to do is enact it, have you come sign a few, what do they call it, e-sign, and they'll have all your information on digitized. All right, so that's the world we live in. It's becoming more realistic the closer we draw. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Kind of wanted to touch on that just a little bit, a lot of bit, you know. And again, Lord willing, it was edifying because here I got one more precept and I'm gonna close. All right, 2 Ezra 9 and 20. All right, it says, "So I consider the world, and behold, right, there was peril, meaning danger, all right, or destruction, right, because of the devices that were come into it, all right, and the device is an ideal, okay, and so this world is headed in, it's going to be in its worst condition ever, okay, because of Esau implementing these new this new way to society and ridding themselves of the old way. So with that, Lord willing, this was edifying. Until next time, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashem Shai, Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone. Shalom.